What does it mean when people say we're old souls?
That
we've been here before.
we know a lot of things that rightfully we probably shouldn't know. The knowledge and the wisdom we carry in such a short period of time. What's an old soul bringing back the old wisdom in a new body?
Let's see why that would be threatening to other people. Why some knowledge old souls possess would have been thought of as otherworldly or even like scary.
I think old souls too have an understanding of their...
You think they can what?
They have an understanding of their purpose, even though they may not realise it in the early years. They come to know that and look back on their life and they go, oh, this is what I was meant to be doing all along. So it's an inward knowledge, inward awareness, automatic awareness, a deeper unconscious. And when other people say, oh, they're an old soul, and it's interesting because it doesn't matter what belief or what values or attitudes they carry, they can say that person's an old soul. And they don't really realise what they're saying because it can actually conflict with their beliefs. Because an old soul means that they've been here lifetimes. That means that they're acknowledging reincarnation. Past lives.
In a way, on past life experiences. Unconsciously. That could be true. As you can look at it just in the material way that a person is, or a child is very mature, like beyond their years is another saying people say. Oh, she's beyond her years. That's looking at it materially.
Or he's got a head on him like Methuselah. Methuselah was one of the oldest living people in the Bible, meaning that he's got a lot of knowledge for all the years that he's been. You carry a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight. They're an old soul. Been here many times.
And how many old souls are there in the world at any given time?
It's interesting. Because I think everybody's an old soul. Some remember their past journeys. Others may acknowledge it by speaking and saying, next time I'll come back as. But there's a lot of forgetfulness because they're so busy getting stuck in the materialism or the materialistic part of what we see as life, but it's really the illusion part of reality.
Yeah.
It sucks you in, it takes you away from the real purpose.
We're all walking around asleep.
And then some people are awake.
We think that we're awake. We think we're really alert even to the moment, but we don't see through the veil to what's really happening and all the layers of it. I think it's more about layers for me and different perceptions, capacity to perceive at different levels what's actually happening cyclically in the spiral of life and rebirth and suffering and death and rebirth. It's like participating in that eternal loop. Suffering, death, life, celebration, marriage, having children, being a child, being an adult, being an elder, cycling in and out of lifetimes, and having that quicken as we become old souls, having that process quicken. We almost don't have to, we don't have to go through something you said years ago to me. Why do you have to actually physically go to the place? Why not just be there in an instant and learn what you have to learn and come back? And that stuck with me, like profound. When we awaken as old souls, we can see the karmic cycle, and that's how we step off of the wheel. When people say then this is their last lifetime, this is releasing that suffering
It's interesting now you say that. It just made me come into an awareness that I've been able to do that all the time. I don't have to go anywhere to experience. I can experience what will happen from where I am without doing it, because I think
Absolutely.
these are the ramifications, these are the outcomes that I'll deal with, or these are the stresses that if I change anything in my life in a dramatic way, this will be the outcome. I can see it without actually doing it. So I don't do it.
That's so knowledge or wisdom gained from experience, which when you're an old soul is accumulated over lifetimes. So it seems like intuition is deep memory that you have learned over many experiences.
Why would you want to go do it? And you can see others that go do it and you think it's like they're punishing themselves by having to learn that lesson again.
And a wise elder would be watching the young ones going through those cycles, staying low. Funny how they have to learn it by doing it.
That's true, and like a lot of stuff in my life I haven't had to do because I just look and I go, oh my God, why would I do that to myself?
But you're saying also when you're applying that, it's your what in therapy we call it future pacing. Literally pacing yourself into the future and learning a lesson before you actually engage that big choice in your life or big change, feeling what it's like, realizing the implications of it and all of its different levels and how it will impact on other people, on yourself, on the environment. You're even thinking about how is this going to impact future generations or other people that I work with and their children and families, and you can go through all of that whole process and learn from that and come back to the moment. And it's all just been a meditation over maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and you're going, wow, I totally get what would happen if I did that, if I moved, or if I sold the house, or if I got a new job, or if I quit this job, or you can see the whole outflow. And thank you for those lessons. That's so powerful, but I actually don't need to go there. That's incredible.
That's exactly right. And I think too the material world is such a trap because they're watching everybody else do it. That they're going on a holiday and they're going here and oh my God, I've been to Bali, and so the next flight that they've booked, oh, I'm going to Bali too.
The sitting in the meditation is powerful because it's where you learn. I am not the body. I am not even the mind that's thinking all of these thoughts and wanting to go on a spin, literally or figuratively. Our minds are always doing that anyway.
And it's about trying to capture an illusion, trying to fill our life with as many things as possible before this physical body dies, not our spiritual body. Our physical body dies, is trying to fill it up with as much stuff as possible to say, yes, we've lived. But we're truly not lived until we wake up to the illusion.
Yeah, because we externalize those desires or abilities or whatever into concrete objects, and it's not what it's about. It's about awakening.
It doesn't matter how much we have or how little we have. People who are multimillionaires are gathering stuff. They're gathering their illusion. They're reinforcing their illusion.
At the material level.
And they have glimpses of their spirituality, but they're fearful to let go of that. That's where the fear comes in, and they're fearful of anything changing in their life because they think, oh, my life's not going to be any easier if I let go of this, or if I do embrace the spiritual, I have to let go, but that's not truth either. We don't have to. It's about acknowledging all the material things, the things that we need to live in this material world, our material body, in a spiritual way.
Is that what it means when it says you'll go through the eye of the needle? The camel can't go through the eye of the needle.
It's easier for a camel to move through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven or enter paradise or enter eternal life. And it's just...
That's an easy saying for everybody to also project because, it's about a rich person, but
it's not. It's
that's
about
actually just
everything.
a metaphor. It's about everyone. It's about all of us.
It's about really looking at that and the complexities of what is really said in that principle. And it's easier for the camel to travel through the eye of a needle for the simple fact it's got no attachment.
Mm.
It's harder for the rich man to enter paradise or enter the spiritual realm, or because too many attachments. Once we let go of those attachments, we become like the camel. No attachment.
I've never heard the story interpreted that way. It's so clear.
So become like the puppy dog. Become like the Tess. Be at peace with the physical and feed the physical, but not become the physical. Become more than that. And enjoy it. It's about becoming the spiritual, becoming the connected, becoming the all is one. But it's about having to feed the physical, acknowledging the physical, embracing the physical in that way. That's what we have to do while we're here. But each time that we have revelations, our eyes are opened up one more layer, so we can actually see a little bit clearer. And why is it harder for a rich man to enter? Because he's got so many items. He's got 20-story buildings and 50,000 different odd cars and lots of money in the bank, and it's so hard to detach from all of that. So the man that doesn't really have anything, not as much to detach from, can still find it hard. It doesn't matter what we have. He might have a coin collection or a toy car collection. And how do we detach from those items to become that deeper of awareness? And it's not about wrong or right. It's either working or not working while we're here on this journey. It's about gathering the insights and the profoundness of life. What is life?
I don't think it's really about the wealth either. It could also be about a rich man finds it difficult to enter the kingdom because of all of the worry and concern and planning and effort that it takes to build that wealth. Actually burns a person out, and you're focused in the wrong area in a sense that, well, at least you're focused in a different area, maybe not wrong, but you're focused on something that doesn't lead to that entryway.
But that's where your energy, better for you to...
That just reminds me of everybody looking at their cell phone. We're so preoccupied with our cell phone, we can't enter the kingdom of heaven.
Because we have such an attachment to it. We're guided away from the truth, the way and the light, because we're travelling into the artificial, which is the illusion, artificial intelligence.
And everything. It's a therapeutic process, though. It's transformational, isn't it? That it can be a trap, but it can also be a doorway to enlightenment.
When we think about it in the truth, the way and the light, using those teaching principles as sacred sutras, and that travels through all the wisdom in all cultures. When we look at somebody, we see the truth, the way and the light. We allow ourselves to see it in somebody else, and that's why people acknowledge each other in India or outside of India now with Namaste. I'm acknowledging the God within. God exists in me as me. The Creator exists in me as me.
Absolutely.
That's the oneness.
That was the message of St. Francis of Assisi and his connection with creation and his singing the canticle of the sun, is that we are dancing in the oneness, we're participating in it, we are one with it. It is part of us, we are part of it. God is us, we are God. creation unfolding. So powerful.
And that's what all there really is, that oneness. And people in this lifetime are full fed these misconceptions of fear. You must fear God, and you must fear being in danger of doing the wrong thing, and it's not about that at all. It's here to help us open our eyes, to become connected, but also knowing that we can be surrounded by all the things that we ever want. And that's the other sacred sutra, is you shall have your heart's desires. So then we start to manifest. And that's talking about the manifestations. Because it becomes second nature, we start to manifest things in an instance.
We do. That is so far foreign from so many people who are not only just fearing spiritual change, but fearing basic psychological or social therapy to actually shift our behavior at that really basic level.
Yeah. Fear of social criticisms, fear of social judgments. Oh, you can't change yourself in that way.
Absolutely.
It's projection of somebody else's fear, and that causes people to sit back and not ever take that step inward. And I'm not talking about outward.
Take the journey inwards, and
the journey,
absolutely.
One step in starts the journey of 1,000,000 miles.
Absolutely. And the fear is almost gone then, because you're simply going inward. I have met an awful lot of people, and I felt this early on in my journey, that if I actually sat and meditated, I'd be really fearful. What's going to happen? What am I going to face? What am I going to learn? What if it's really scary? What if I don't like myself fundamentally, really hate myself? What if I hate myself? I can't live with myself. I'd go crazy. So the spinning of the fear actually kept me from even just sitting for a long time. It was a hard process to learn.
I enjoy sitting. It's about meditative. That's what the sitting is for me. It's being meditative, and it's being filled with gratitude.
So you're saying maybe your meditation gives you a focus that helps you through that in that moment. That's what it's about, the focus. And allowing the rest, whatever thoughts, emotions come up. And I think that's where I started, when I realized that I didn't have to be fearful. That I could trust the process, literally trust my own breathing. I could trust my mind enough to settle and to be in that moment. And then I realized that a lot of that stress and fear and anxiety came from the energy I got from other people who had spun that off within me in my early growing up years. They couldn't sit still. They always had to have the radio blaring, or they always had to have noise happening, and activity and crisis and drama constantly, 24/7. They'd wake up in the middle of the night and it would be a drama, for God's sake. They're crashing through the house, making noise. So I just couldn't live in a gentle way and present to the moment. And when you internalize that need for constant drama, actually becoming quiet and stilling and meditating, mindfulness can be extremely scary.
And what you're saying really is drama and listening to lots of noise is really having attachments in a different way. They're a different type of an attachment. So we attach ourselves to the drama, we attach ourselves to the noise, and we can't find that place where it's silent enough to actually be at one, in the oneness. And that's why we go inward. Not only when we think about the universe, it's so expansive and massive, but what we are is we're the microcosm We are the universe. We step one foot in and we're in the universe. We don't have to go anywhere.
Profound.